We lit right now, man. Y'all tap in. Y'all tap in, man. Yo, go follow me on IG at 203 Pac-Man, 203 PACMAN, 203 PACMAN. Go follow me on Rumble at PAC203. On Twitter, 203 PAC. Same thing as Facebook. Let's get into this first video, man.
Welcome back to Piers Morgan Uncensored. Controversial influencer Andrew Tate Uncensored returned last night. It's been viewed over 1 million times so far on YouTube alone. His fans call him a misunderstood maestro of masculinity. His critics say he's a malignant, malicious misogynist. I think he's probably somewhere between the two. But last night, once again, he divided opinion.
I do mean what I say. If I were to...
It was crazy how he says he agrees with him in front of him, and as soon as he's not there, he says he's a kind of a misogynist. Like,
see a girl on a private plane on Instagram, for example, I would assume that a man put her on that private plane. I would not assume she bought it herself.
What if it was...
Perhaps that makes me misogynistic.
What about the Afghan women?
It's nothing to do with me on any level.
You don't have a view?
I have a view. My view is that people...
Hey, that's a fact. Listen, if you go on Instagram right now, you type in private jets, you're going to see a bunch of men taking pictures in front of them. You probably see a couple ladies here and there, but you're going to see it's most of it's men. And who do men bring on the private jets with them? They fly women out, they take women with them and stuff like that. Come on. Women are so frugal with their money. Like, they don't want to spend it. They want to spend your money. We all know. Come on, guys.
People naturally gravitate towards law and order. And if you didn't have the Taliban, you'd have different warlords operating in lawlessness. And there would be no way to prevent your store or your market stall getting completely robbed by someone with an AK-47. And people are going to gravitate towards a form of law and order. America left. They left the power vacuum, and the power vacuum is now full.
What about their treatment of women? I mean, only tonight they have banned any women from going to university.
Fantastic. Let's get the feminists to go and teach them a lesson. The feminists are so tough, and they stand up and say they can do anything a man can do. Let's arm them up and send them to Afghanistan. I'm sure they'll fix it.
Why?
Yo, oh my mama. That was a good take. That was a good take. He's trying to get him caught in the corner about this Afghan stuff and this Taliban stuff. But if the Taliban do leave, or whoever the group is that runs it, it'll be another group. So it'll be the same type of stuff, but it's just another group, different faces. That's it. That's it. What do you think if the government leaves out here? If they just say forget it, who's gonna take over? Someone else is gonna take over. Different faces, different name. That's it.
Why can't you just say on that, you know what, it's completely wrong?
Because it's not my point. It's I don't understand.
But it makes me think. It'll make your critics think that you don't think it's wrong.
They could ban all men. They could ban all short people.
But they're not. They're only banning women.
Correct. They could ban all short people. They could ban all people with long hair. And none of it's anything to do with me. So they can do whatever they want.
They try to get trapped in the corner.
Taliban.
Do you think you're a misogynist?
Absolutely not. I'm not a misogynist on any level. This is one of those buzzwords they just throw at people randomly. Homophobic, racist, misogynist. They just throw it out at people.
Well, joining me now is Talk TV contributor Esther Krakow and a trembling broadcaster and journalist.
Yo, they're gonna why? They don't like that. They don't like none of the stuff he said. They're gonna say what he said is detrimental to men. Little boys shouldn't look up to him. They're gonna say shit like this, man. I haven't watched this yet, but I already know. You've seen one, you've seen them all. These ladies just don't like him no matter what. It's probably a select few ladies that like him, and 9 times out of 10, the ladies that do like him are good-looking women. Like, come on, are these fire women? Rate them in the chat or in the comment section. Put what you think they are in the comment section.
Jenny Kleeman, visibly recoiling in horror. Let's start with you, Jenny. He's not your idea of a role model.
Well, no, he's not. I see him as a symptom of a problem rather than a solution to it. I can understand why.
What's the problem that he's a symptom?
The problem is, I think a lot of young men feel that nobody is speaking up for them in a culture where we are encouraged to have identity politics. The only identity that isn't a good identity is a young man or a young white male. He talks in a very straight way, and he gives straight answers to some questions, which I think he gives very wrong answers to. But I find him repellent. I think he talks about he basically creates straw men that he destroys. So he will depict feminism as a particular kind of thing, a kind of man-hating thing, which it isn't.
Well, it is for some feminists.
For a small number of feminists.
I mean, there are some radical feminists who genuinely hate men.
There definitely are. There definitely are. But most people know that feminism is about just thinking that everyone should have equal opportunity.
Stop the cat, man. Stop the cat. This is not what the feminists want. When you go to these marches and stuff like that, they want power. They want to say why there isn't men CEOs, why there isn't as many female CEOs as there is men. They only want to be CEOs. They don't want to be construction workers. They don't want to be bridge builders. They don't want to be welders. They don't want to do none of the hard stuff, but they just want to be the top. So they want the benefits. They don't want to be in a select draft. They don't want to do the nitty gritty. So this idea of us just being equal is like crazy. Like, and I'm from like the trenches. Like, this is like a lot of this stuff is like not even like I see this stuff on the internet and it like blows my mind.
Regardless of
and one thing we know from Afghanistan, and these heartbreaking scenes today in Afghanistan of weeping female students who couldn't go to university, and men actually in Afghanistan then going out in protest for them. I mean, really heart-rending scenes, Esther, here of these young women in Afghanistan weeping because they've been told they cannot now continue their education. And then you've got male students walking out in protest.
I feel so sorry for them ladies, man. So sorry, but it's their country. The Taliban run a show on there. It's only one thing to do. As a father, me and my daughter packing up, going to another country. You get education somewhere else. It's crazy. They run the show, though. I'm not saying they don't. They run the show.
It's a very brave thing to do. A bit like we saw in Iran with the men protesting in support of the women being oppressed there. This is where he slightly lost me last night, Andrew Tate. There are a lot of things he says, which I understand why young men, you feel a bit lost, why they gravitate to his confidence. He's very good at building business. He's proven it. He's made himself extremely rich doing it. A lot of what he says about masculinity and stuff, I completely would sign up to, actually. Yeah. And his confidence can help people. But when he was not prepared to condemn
these 10th
the
century
Taliban
barbarians
for that, because that to me is an open and shut case. If you don't condemn it, then I'm afraid you've got a problem. And it's not about sending feminists in to go to war. As I pointed out to him.
Which I actually do think is
Send them, man. They be out here talking proud. I can do anything. I can beat men up. Go send them. He said he ain't got nothing to do with it. However, that's how, just like how I just said, the Taliban run the show. The Taliban run the show. The only thing I can do is take it and look and see it for what it is and move on. And I'm gonna be honest, these men walking out and that's highly dangerous. Like, that's highly dangerous. Like, I don't like. That's dangerous. They're risking their lives now because they're going against the agenda, and it's crazy.
It's a valid point.
Well, it's fine, but a lot of women do actually fight in the armed forces.
Yeah,
so the idea that none of them do is also nonsense.
I think he was using that to kind of attack the more extreme forms of feminism that says, women can do anything a man can do. And he was using that as an example. Yeah. But I do think, you lose people when you refuse to outright condemn sort of 10th century barbarians like this. But I don't think, when he said it has nothing to do with him, I think he's not willing to get into dicey territory in that way. But it's like, you speak in such absolute terms. Why not?
Do you think he's a misogynist?
I don't think he's a misogynist. No, I don't think so.
I mean, a misogynist means somebody who...
W girl. W black woman. W queen.
hates women.
Yeah,
I don't think he hates women.
I do
don't
think he hates women. I think he thinks
don't think
women
he does.
are nothing. I think he would not know what to do with you and I, Esther, because he does not know how to deal.
She's
He
looking
gives
at
interviews
crazy.
to people like you or to Hugo Rifkin. He'll give interviews to
Yeah,
men.
but a lot
He
of women
cannot
I've
deal with
spoken to about
intelligent
yeah, but a lot of
women.
women.
But he's done interviews with women. I've seen them before on YouTube,
Yeah.
and he's
He
very
does-
polite and
he
respectful.
cannot
Yeah, women do.
deal-
A lot of women do like him.
Exactly.
There are a lot of women who don't know him who seem to
Yeah.
hate him,
Yeah.
ironically. But I'm not sure it's as clear
I mean,
cut as he's a misogynist.
I don't think he's a misogynist, and I have a brother who's probably within his target demographic, 23, and I can understand why his message would resonate with him because it's normal.
understand why
And
the
it's
message
normal,
would
exactly,
resonate.
for
I
young
just-
men to feel like they don't have a place in Western society, and he actually makes that point. I just think when you don't want to outright condemn 10th century barbarians like the Taliban, you tend to lose your case with more moderate people. But again, we're not his target
The
audience.
fact that
That's why,
his understanding about what's happening in Afghanistan is that it's a feminist issue rather than a human issue.
I don't think he
Yeah.
said that.
Well, no, he did. He said, send this feminist in.
He's not saying it's a feminist issue. He's saying that the women that swear they're so triggered by it. You're so mad about it, lady. Why don't you go over there? I ain't going over there. That has nothing to do with me. Like I said, the Taliban run a show over there. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I said, all you could do is realize and make the best decision you could and just leave. You could go to another country, you could go to a different state, you could move somewhere else. But they run a show out there. It's fine for you to sit up here on this platform, lady, and say all of this, but you're not willing to go over there. You're an extreme feminist. Like, just by the way you're talking, you're an extreme feminist. You want equal, but you don't want equal outcome. You don't want to go through what it takes to become the CEO. You just want to be the CEO, like just by that. No, doesn't happen like that.
It's a human issue where we made all these promises to people in Afghanistan and then we left.
Well, let's be
Women
clear.
built
Let's be
their
clear.
life on
We
it.
betrayed those women.
We absolutely
right?
betrayed Biden.
Joe
As a human
Biden,
being,
in the way we pulled out of
completely.
Afghanistan overnight, and we betrayed not only people who work with us, the interpreters and so on,
but people
we
who
have left
died
millions,
for them.
millions of Afghan women.
Yeah.
What? Is he? Are they stupid? They don't know what goes on over there. They're saying anything. Who? America killed millions of innocent people. Stop the bullet. Don't try to say Joe Biden, bro. They should have been from over there. They should never went over there, bro. Stop saying that, bro. You went over there for the wrong things. Oil, but man, I'm not gonna get in this chat. That's not our fight. It's not our country. It's our job to make sure the stuff don't happen here. They're from British England. Y'all go over there. Y'all go up over there. Y'all mad about it. Y'all go do that, man. The Taliban run the show out there. That's them. They go do that. They that's their job. That's their job. I'm not. They do whatever they want to do in their country. I'm in America. I have nothing to do with what they got going on. You got to realize and just adapt. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Have just been tossed back to these
And
barbaric
servicemen
wolves.
who died for it. But the fact that he sees it, he says, oh, it's got nothing to do with me. As a human being, it
Yeah.
should have something to do with it. As someone who says he's
No,
proud
I agree.
Brit, it should
I
have
thought it was a
something to do with
cop out there, but albeit, again, a lot of what he says, I could imagine if I was a young man, it would resonate with me,
Yeah.
probably for the right reasons. I think he's trying to give people confidence and a belief that being masculine is not actually a stick to
bad
beat
thing.
you with, right?
Absolutely.
You can be a good masculine person. He used to be applauded. Let's talk of somebody who I don't think is a shining example of this, Joe Lycett, who has spent the last month posturing away with his shiny moral halo about David Beckham being in Qatar and representing the Qataris in the World Cup and being paid for it. And then the Sun revealed yesterday a rather uncomfortable truth, which is that he had actually performed himself in Qatar, Abu Dhabi, and Dubai in 2015, a series of stand-up gigs for money, Esther. Now, there's a word for this, and I call it hypocrisy.
Well, this is the thing. It's hypocrisy and it's cowardice because he would say these things, but he wouldn't actually go to Qatar and sit on Qatari state television and say all these things. He can sit back comfortably and rage at their.
But his whole point was David
human
Beckham
rights
shouldn't
record.
be there and shouldn't be fronting anything for the Qataris when this guy himself has taken it. And his excuse was so mealy-mouthed,
Yeah.
Jenny. Oops, I've been caught by the sun. Well, yes, I did 2 gigs in Doha. Actually, it was 3 gigs in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Qatar. I kept it secret by writing about it in my own book. Well, no one remembers that from 7 years ago. I was paid a few £100, not keen to say exactly.
Yo, this world is crazy, man. They're over here judging another country about their beliefs, and their country is shitty. If people won't stop getting stabbed and shot in their countries, and they're worried about another country's beliefs of whatever they don't want going on in their country, it's wild. You can't even control the shit in your country. Why are you trying to bring stuff into someone else's country? That's wild, bro. That's like that's like going into someone else's houses and putting your feet on their table in the living room. It's not your house. What are you doing? You can't even control your job. Your job is to handle stuff at your house. Don't act wild at my house.
How much? Not by Qatar, but by UK comedy promoters who were being paid by Qatar. But it was 2015 when Qatar's laws were exactly the same about homosexuality as they are today. And that went a lot further back then. And so he goes on. And then he says, oh, no, but who should I take moral lectures from? Not from the Sun. Okay, what about it? It's not about the Sun here. It's about Joe Lycett's hypocrisy.
I think it doesn't look good for Joe Lycett. But I would say that they're different things. The World Cup is about giving soft power on the global stage.
So is stand-up comedians
no,
who are...
Well, hang on. He was like nothing in
It's about soccer. It's about football. That's all it's about, bro. That's all it's about. It's all about performing. Whoever performs raps, does shows and stuff like that. It's an event. That's it. It's about football. That's it. Yeah, man. This shit is weird. Like, it's weird.
Gay comedians going to a country which they profess to hate because it bans homosexuality. They're by going there, they are basically saying, I don't care. I'm pocketing the money. It's the same argument he used against Beckham. I
think with Beckham, it's to do with being an ambassador on the global stage for a country that is trying to elevate their profile. Joe Lycett in 2015,
if I said to you, it's the old thing of Churchill. Was it Churchill and Bessie Braddock when he said he was drunk one night? He said, "Madam, would you sleep with me for £1 million?" And she said, "Would you sleep with me for £1 million?" And she went, "Well, I don't know, Winston." And he said, "Well, would you sleep with me for £1?" "No, don't be outrageous." "Well, look, we already established." He said, "What kind of woman do you think I am?" "We know what kind of woman you are. We're haggling over the price, right?" That was a joke. But my point about Joe Lycett is he seems to be saying, I only took a few hundred.
No,
Beckham took a few million. What's the difference?
I think you have to be careful about doing this kind of archaeology about what people have done really quite far in the past.
No, it was 7 years ago when it was illegal to be gay in Qatar.
It's been illegal to be gay there.
He knew that. Illegal to be gay in Dubai, and it was illegal to be gay in the UAE.
No, it's not. That's not the belief. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. They're making it seem like gay people couldn't go over there at all. You can't go over there. Gay, straight. If mom and dad are getting it on in public, that's against the law. Even if they're straight. That's what they're saying. A straight couple cannot get it on. So vice versa. That's what they're saying. They don't want any type of that. They're a modest country, very modest, very conservative, on both ends. That's all they're saying. Don't wave your beliefs in nobody's face, and they're gonna do the same. If you're into pagan, you're not gonna be waving the pagan stuff around in everybody's face. You can't do that. It's just people want it to be everything but football, soccer, whatever it is.
You sanction this kind of stuff, it's fair game for anybody. Like all of those sports people who wear it, it's established when they were 18, so 10 years ago.
No,
this stuff
not buying it. Yeah. Rank hypocrite. Yeah. Don't want to see any more Joe Lycett.
What y'all think about that, man? What y'all think about that? Hey, yo, chat. Ben Shapiro's gonna be on the Nelk Boys in a little bit, man. I gotta go see that one, boy. Let me see if my boy dropped something else though. Okay, let's go. Let's get into some Luke Belmar, man. I'm a big fan of Luke. Big fan.
sell online, and grow your business with Wix.
Listen, I'm all about, man, trying to become a millionaire, man. That's about everything. I was talking to my friends today, man, and my old friends, and I see why I really don't chill with them. They're just stuck in the broke person mindset. Oh, that's good that you have these what's the names, but everybody's goals are not like this. I just want to drive a regular car. It's okay to be driving around in my regular car. I'm like, I want to drive a Ferrari. You want to be regular? The worst people in life are regular people. Oh, I'm happy. All right. I just know I'm not talking to you no more.
E-commerce.
Know that, man.
Create a beautiful.
There are two types of pains in life: the pain of discipline and the pain of regret. Now, pain is unavoidable in your human experience, but one pain, right, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs pounds. What does this mean? This means that in life, pain is unavoidable. It is undeniable, right? This idea.
Pain is part of life. Life is an up and down scale. Like, it's never gonna be. It's always gonna be happy, sad, happy, sad. It's never happy, 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 happy all the time. Things happen in life. That's part of it. The part of the journey. You're here to live and experience things.
Yeah, you can live life without consequences, that you can instill bad habits in your life, and that is inconsequential to the outcome of your future, is a fallacy. The Matrix wants you to believe that, YOLO, you only live once. The question is, how do you live that one time? Do you live it with regret, or do you live it by instilling discipline and having the ability to control the source of the pain and then the outcome of what that pain wields? Now, a lot of you guys want to avoid pain because you don't understand that pain is elemental to your human experience. The pressure of life will crush you. Now, the question is, will it wield a diamond or not? And all of that has to do from the source by which that pain comes from. Now, if you instill discipline, it is painful, right? Not having to hang out with certain people, having to establish a routine, having to establish healthy lifestyles, having to establish healthy eating habits, having to cut out the bullshit in your life, saying, hey, no, I'm not going out tonight because I got things that I need to accomplish in order to live a life that is not full of regret. Now, on the other side, you have the pain of regret. This regret usually comes from a lifestyle that is massively hedonistic, a lifestyle that is massively promiscuous, that has no limitations, no boundaries, and instills zero discipline. Most people live this lifestyle because they think that they're never going to have to pay the piper, that they're never going to have to pay the bill for the decisions of their life, for the actions of their life. Now, we understand by Newton's law that every action has an equal and opposite reaction, that for everything that you input into the universe, you will receive.
Hey, yo, I know, like, a lot of this stuff is, like, hard for, like, let's say, like, a person that's not trying to improve in life or do better or become, reach the next level. It's like, it's hard for them to digest this. But just sit down and pay attention for a second. I swear to God, the stuff is very helpful. Like, it awakens you. Like, stuff like this helps me. I know we like watching the Red Pill stuff, the Andrew Tate, the Fresh and Fit, the Sneeko stuff, but that's just the icing on the cake. That's just a little part of the Red Pill. This is the real part of it. The habits, the lifestyle. This is the conversation that Morpheus tells Neo when he's walking down the street. This is part of the conversation. This is it, bro.
Receive an equal proportion in output. So the question is, what are you inputting? And what type of pain is going to come from that? Are you going to regret it? Or are you going to instill discipline in such a way that you can control the outcome of your life and your decisions? As I'm here in Phuket, Thailand, we have a couple villas and mansions here, and kind of reminiscing my life over like the past couple of years, I came to realize that by instilling discipline and suffering in that short-term period, right, those 2 hours, 3 hours of just gruesome intention every single day, have allowed me to live a life that I have no regrets. And it's not regrets because I'm an arrogant person. I'm like, I don't regret anything that I've done, right? It's not that. It's that the life that I have is a life that has no regrets, because there's nothing to regret, because everything that I've done has been intentional. Everything's been done with discipline and dedication. And you can do the same. So the question is, how do you want to live your life? Now, if I take you to an old retirement home, if I take you to a hospital, you will witness, it's very palpable. You can feel it in the air. It's very dense, the pain of regret. is real. And unless you instill discipline in your life, unless you instill habits, unless you instill circles of influence, friends, and put yourself in a situation where there's discipline that allows you to live a life of fullness over the long period, that gives you the ability to have a lifespan longevity full of health, wealth, love, and happiness, you need to understand that you must be willing to suffer today to become something tomorrow, instead of having anything you want today and having to pay the bill tomorrow. And I promise you, that bill is very fucking expensive. It comes with interest and it's very fat. So as you watch this video, ask yourself, what type of life do I want? Do I want to instill these habits that are going to push me to the next level? Or am I just going to continue doing what I've always done? I'm just going to continue doing what every other fucker's out here doing. You're going to have the same results. You're going to have the same outcome. Now, the question is, what do I want? Now, you're on the other side of the screen, most likely on your phone. And honestly, the decisions of your life have no impact and have no consequence to who I am as an individual. So me saying this to you is actually because I care. I truly care. And I want.
I know this shit is deep. This shit is deep. I've been kind of trying to talk to this stuff to like, I say like to my old friends, but you can only talk for so much. And you see like the way people want to live their life and they just act like, yo, like they don't see like the oppression in front of them. Like you just got to leave them alone and just like enlighten yourself and try to take yourself to the next level. Because by the time they see it, they're going to be twice as old, struggling, and you're going to be off in Phuket, Thailand, living it up. Ain't got a care in the world. Because when you do work, because you probably ain't got to work that often, but when you do work, you make it happen.
You to understand these principles, because had somebody come into my life and told me these things a lot earlier, I would have been in a situation where I would have had to make decisions in a different way. And now I'm in a situation where I had to learn through experience. And I'm giving you the opportunity to not learn through experience, but to learn through the experience of others. Just like Tony Robbins said, you know, the pain of discipline, it only weighs a few ounces, but the pain, right, that comes from regret weighs tons. It's a burden because you can't do anything about it, but you can control the discipline that you instill in your life. One of the examples are these super athletes, whether it's Cristiano Ronaldo, whether it's LeBron James. They spend millions of dollars on their body every single year. The discipline that comes, right? And in their life yields fruitful results in many aspects. So ask yourself, what's the life I want? What's the life that I want to live? And what am I willing to sacrifice and become disciplined in so I don't have to deal with the regret and the bullshit of the future? It's your life. You only get one. Ask yourself, am I willing to have the pain of discipline, or will I deal with the pain of regret? The choice is yours. You got one life. It's all on you.
Oh, how y'all feel about that, chat? How y'all feel about that? Let's get into this next video, man.
So I was hoping to start from the beginning. How did this reputation come about? And do you feel like it is deserved?
I do feel that it's deserved because what I've come to understand is that I have misrepresented myself for a very long time.
So were you the side chick that calls in the middle of the night so she can roll over and see the phone? Or were you the side chick that knew you was going to link up at 2 o'clock, so you just had to wait?
I was a side chick that when Gene would call him, I would go in the other room and be quiet.
Yeah, you did.
That's the worst kind too.
That's the MVP.
I think you.
That's the best kind. You talking about? Shit, you know your spot.
You said something about kissing him.
Yeah, sometimes I would like kiss him and try to distract him so he would get off the phone, and then other times I would just go in the other room and be quiet or watch TV.
So when you wanted him, was that insecurity in yourself, or did you just want him and that was it? Like, have you broken down the psychological behind being a confident side chick?
I mean, I think anytime you're a side chick, there's something that you have to address that's going on internally. So for me, I just didn't feel good enough for first. So I just didn't really, I'm like, it's not, that's not my problem. That's not my man, and I want him. So I don't really care what it takes and what it makes me look like. At the time, I didn't realize how much it really reflected on how empty I was and how low I felt about myself.
Even though per society standards, I was someone who, low body count. No, I had not talked to any famous guy, never been around. I had a big following. An ideal situation, right? Starting out in Hollywood, already labeled a whore, a liar, a gold digger. So when I think about,
that's how you label yourself. They think people give them these labels. They give themselves these labels just by your actions, the way you talk, the way you carry yourself. You give yourself this. You just said you was okay with being a side chick. You said you didn't feel good enough about yourself. So you labeled yourself as that already. Don't cry wolf now.
How my origin story began, like my villain origin story, it was that. It's like, I haven't even done anything and I'm already misunderstood. So I think as time
Yo, if Pearl said one more time, I'ma lose it.
Progressed, I really just tried to fake it till I could make it.
I am a gold digging, manipulative, evil, who has no real talent, who has sucked it way to the top, and is a...
Well, he ain't got all the way to the top. I'm right here, like. I'm at the top. Where you at?
Overhyped, below average looking girl with clout, who is only relevant because of her ass.
Well, damn.
You can't turn to a housewife.
The world you live in, the world you exist in, is pretty much foreign to most of the people who have something to say about it.
Right.
What do you think people get that point of view? I mean, because you said the first thing is that you are a manipulative gold digger.
Yes.
All right. Whose gold have you dug?
My favorite basketball team is whatever NBA player I'm fucking. I love watching basketball. It's just way more interesting when there's someone on the team like.
Yo, Pearl, who does these slam dunks? Who videoed this shit? These slam dunks are crazy. Like, they're wilding on her. Like, she labeled herself this. This is not nobody else. She did it to herself, man.
That I'm linked to, but I don't really have a favorite one, just players.
And from what I understand, the book, you told stories. You use different names, but all these people are celebrities and musicians and entertainers. Gold digging. Has any one of these men said you gold digging?
No.
11 athletes.
Woo!
5 entertainers.
Woo!
8 regular guys.
Woo!
I've only 3 regular guys since I've been Instagram famous.
There's no supporting evidence. I think it's just.
She said 11 athletes, 5 entertainers, or 8? What'd she say? She said 8 or 5? 3 regular, 3 times 5. Because she's not telling them all, so you gotta multiply it by 5. That's 45, 55. Something about that, like, they be lying.
Just public speculation. I like to call them fan theories. Very interesting.
I don't make permanent decisions off of temporary emotions. I know change is constant, and I can think myself out of any situation if I have imagination.
The villain came about was I was a small town girl from Mississippi. Like to even be in certain rooms with people where it was unheard of. I never thought these guys would even know I existed. So I felt like there was still that like starry-eyed element where I didn't know what I was doing. I felt like I had been like thrown into Disney World.
This game, you're not ready for it.
So to speak, right? Like the world is at your fingertips. And again, all of these high value men are now seeking you.
Let's skip all the way today.
Okay.
If you could do it all over again, would you choose it?
I see nothing about me, the way I am, the way I think.
Why is she talking like
It's
this?
shameful.
Absolutely.
Why?
Being honest, I
Say,
feel.
well, we're gonna get honest either way.
I would say that there's a lot of privilege that comes with this. You get to skip the line, and once you reach a certain level of status, really the world is your oyster. As far as like I've gotten acting roles simply just off my Instagram. Really been able to do different speaking engagements. I've been able to just like not have a like actually have to clock in since 2000.
So stop talking about whole shit. That's what you gotta do. You got the platform. Stop talking about whole shit. Stop talking about stealing people mans, sucking dick and shit like that. This, you know what to do. You's a mother. The fuck? Yeah, wildin'. Certain things you can't do. I'm a father. I'm not doing certain shit, bro. Get the like certain. It's not okay to be doing online. Certain stuff. No, it's not. Especially not even online. Just to be doing. Period. Even when you think you or you feel like you're not shit, you still carry yourself a certain way. Doesn't matter. You feel a certain way. Duh. People feel different ways all the time. That's why people gotta listen to T. I'm telling y'all.
2013. So I would say yes, because I don't really take direction that well. I feel like here you go. I'm self-aware. And I feel like in this position, I've gotten to make more money than I would have made being a special needs caregiver. There's a privilege that we have to acknowledge for women.
Well,
it's easier in some areas.
Well, I mean, okay. So while you do get to skip the line, all this other kind of stuff, you also get labeled for doing things that would only make sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you relish the label or do you resent the label?
I think you have to take the good and the bad. So you can't be like, I love skipping the line, but I hate when people call me a. It's like, who cares?
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand because there's one article that's a one-off, right?
Yeah.
Like you can kind of recover from one article, in my opinion, anyway. But there was more that happened in between. Yeah. What happened next?
Do you think women look at your body or look at you on Instagram and judge you or hate you in any type of way for that?
I'm sure they do.
But you don't care.
No.
Where do you get your confidence from? Because you're extremely confident. Like you did a video talking about sucking dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
it's an art.
Yeah, but women aren't that blunt on just in public about that. Where do you get that confidence from?
I feel like over the past few years, I've gotten really comfortable.
It's the devil in her. It's easy. Devil in you.
Just within the woman I am and who I want to be. So I do enjoy sucking. I like to talk about it. I wanted to like do, the whole.
The Jill Scott.
The Jill Scott.
The Jill Scott. That's classic. No, I was gonna say, do you feel like you've been self-conscious for so long where you get to a point where it's like a lash out, where like, I feel like you're comfortable in your skin and what you do and what you like to do, but to put out on social media like that, do you feel like that's where it comes from? Like for so long, I felt ashamed about something. Now I just want to put it out there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've been learning is in polarity. So like I was saying the other day, it's like I have learned to be strong from being weak for a long time. So it's like being degraded and feeling shame for just being and enjoying things that are very natural. I just kind of found myself like owning it. So I'm just not afraid of, I don't know really what people want, like what they think and what they want me to be, I guess. Just not here to do all that.
Okay, so it was just like you were linked.
More like that, goddamn, that's what that be like, yeah.
With rapper, entertainer.
A lot of my shit was public, and I feel like that's where a lot of people are like, she's a whore, but it's like there's articles where someone took a picture of me at the movie theater with a guy.
Here's how your music sounds in your room. And here's how your music sounds in your car.
that's out of my control.
Because I'm so vocal, and just because it's like, you know, it's hot under these lights, you know? So it's like, I think dating has probably been the hardest thing for me. A lot of my friends, we just don't have the same problems, it seems like. You almost have to keep it going, because if I'm Brittany Renner and I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, and let's say I fall off and now I'm working at Target, it's not that that's a failure, but there would be ridicule that comes behind that.
There's one time where I thought I was, you know, being Billy Badass, and I guys in a week had a mean yeast infection. That's not funny, but it wasn't funny. But looking back,
She's wild.
My end goal would be.
She is wild, bro. That shit is disgusting. She is wild.
To utilize my youth, my beauty, this position, to create opportunities in the now for the long term. So podcasting, hair company, skincare.
Pretty bought me a Chanel purse.
Are you serious?
She's a sugar mama.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you. She got me for my birthday. Oh my god. This was funny.
I just didn't want her to be impressed by what any man could do for her. And she obviously could do that herself. But for me, I just felt like it was more of a sentiment, like, you don't need a guy.
Yo, these hoes did be chilling. I remember seeing them on the internet at the same time. I didn't know who Brittany Renner was at the time. This is Tiana Trump. This is the GOAT. Not the GOAT, but y'all know what I mean. The demon.
To get stuff like this. So yeah, I mean, I think my biggest end goal is to, well, one of my bigger end goals is to have my own podcast. Because when I was pregnant, I used to watch your lives. You would pose so many questions that I did not have the answer to. I'm 29. And when I would listen to you, and people would get triggered, but I'm like, when you really sit down and you take away tone, you take away whatever people think about you, it's actually very helpful if you're willing to listen. But a lot of people don't listen.
So do you relish being the rebel?
I love it here.
When you're 60, what do you want your life to look like?
That's a great question.
Don't let your baby mama or your baby daddy.
I want to have grandkids. When I'm 60, I want to be great. I want to be spoiling my grandkids. Yeah, that's my job. Be a great grandpa. Be a good grandpa. That's it. You raise your kids right so you can spoil your grandkids. I'm not saying spoil your kids, you spoil your grandkids. You make it a little bit easier for your kids to reach the top, a little bit easier. But you spoil your grandkids.
Block your blessings. I know in theory it sounds good keeping the same person to have kids with, but that's insanity as well. So if it doesn't work out with them, it'll work out with someone else. Okay? It just will. That's how that goes. And trust.
My whole vision is coming up, like it's coming out. Like I have like Spidey vision, I have whole vision.
I know it's ghetto. It is so ghetto being a baby mama, and thinking about multiple baby daddies is scary. But you and my baby gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So we're moving forward, onward, and upward. Okay.
I've had to ask myself, like, what am I willing to pay to be in my truth and to be the rebel? I think right now, there is kind of like a burning at the stake. Like it is, that's how I feel. I feel like because I tell my truth, I speak how I feel, that I have been crucified. I'm a very easy target.
Are you into the idea that like you can't just first and then start dating? Like, do you hold off if you want to be serious with someone, or do you you want to?
I'm having sex.
All right, cool. I'm glad you're not like old school or anything.
No, I feel like that mentality, like, oh, if I just hold out, he'll really see my value. No, you won't. To me, family is everything. I was raised with my grandparents. So for me, they did the best they could with the awareness they had. But my mom and dad, they never married. And my mom isn't married now. My dad is. And it's just like, for me, it's just always been a dream to have that in-household unit. And I just feel like, due to recent.
Not from all the other stuff you was saying. Ain't no way. That doesn't seem like what the shit you were saying. Now you didn't. well, I don't know how old you are now. You're in your 30s now, most likely, and now you want it. Because Kevin Stevens died this year, and this show's coming out this year. So now you're, yeah, it's too late. Well, it's not too late, but it is late. 9:30.
Events. Now it's like, yeah, it is stepdaddy season, and that wasn't my choice. Even though it was my choice, there were things that transpired where I just felt like, okay, I'm gonna have to choose me. But yeah, I want a family, but it is going to take, I mean, honestly, at this point, I don't know who would want to sign up to be with me. And that's just being all the way transparent. I don't know.
So you see any similarities in you and your mother?
No. And I think too, when you hate something, it is natural that you become it. So I think you have to like, again, like dissolve, and then it just kind of becomes one thing and you're more balanced. So no, my mom and I were both very silly and like outgoing and crazy. But as far as being a parent, I couldn't see how I could be like either one of them.
Experience, the worst people to deal with are the athletes. None of them use condoms, really. So if y'all really want to try to come up off a check off a man, you could just athlete. They're really done.
But that's not what everyone else sees. That's not for me to sit here and try to convince people that, like, what it was. But I think just living out loud, like you said, it comes at a cost. Whether you're talking about your experiences in a book, whether your relationship is public, there is a cost.
My light is so bright.
She used to go out with Lil Uzi? Ain't no way, boy. I ain't even noticed.
That it causes all of the roaches to scatter in places they thought they could hide. It's just me being me. It just causes such an uproar. Like, loving yourself is such a rebellious act these days, you know? But I'm here to tell you, I am so not sorry.
She had the evil laugh. That's crazy, man. How y'all feel about that, man? That was wild, man. Y'all already know how this is, man. Listen, thank y'all for coming to the stream, man. Watching the stream. If y'all new, hit the subscribe button, man. I'm gonna chop these up and put them out. I know y'all don't got all day to watch them all, man, but I'm gonna put them out as soon as possible. Thank y'all. Have a nice day, man.